What is going on, guys? It's your boy, Mr. Banks, coming at you live with another trade recap from a live trades that we're taking today. Now, today I'll be going over some really great information on how to best trade the indices and how I was able to trade the indices, specifically QQQ, to hit 108% and 98% on the second trade of the day. But before I get into it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of this educational content I put out on a daily basis to make you a successful trader. Now, let me go ahead and get into it, guys. We did hit two huge trades on QQQ, even through the chop. Now, a lot of people tend to focus purely on SPY or QQQ or IWM. Whenever indice they're trading, they only zone in and focus on that without focusing on the top holdings. So today I'm going to go over a couple different things with you guys. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Now, first, I want to give a big shout out to everyone in the group. Absolutely killed it today. I mean, the team absolutely ran it up. $20,000 between the education community and overall support provided. There's no reason anyone should ever consider a different Discord. Just want to give a big shout out to all the members who absolutely banked today. Now, again, I am going over a live trade with you. One was on voice, one was through text. Now, let me go ahead and get started. Let's go over what are the top holdings, right? What are the top holdings? Now, when you're trading QQQ or you're trading SPY, you should always know what are the top holdings. So what I tell my team all the time is watch Apple, watch Microsoft, watch Amazon, watch NVIDIA, watch Tesla, right? So let's take a look at QQQ. What are the top holdings? Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, right? Google, Tesla. Okay. Now, what are the top holdings of SPY? Very, very similar. Again, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, Google, Meta, right? So we could see Tesla. So we could see that the top 10 holdings of both SPY and both QQQ are nearly identical. If you don't have a big enough screen or don't have the capability to watch many tickers at one time, I would pretty much focus on Microsoft and Apple. You can see those are the top two holdings, both in QQQ and SPY. So in QQQ, and Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, a little more rated than Microsoft, but in SPY, it's nearly identical. Next one, Amazon, NVIDIA, Google, Meta, Tesla. Again, Amazon, NVIDIA, Meta, Google, Tesla, right? So focusing on these names while you are trading these indices is going to help you out tremendously. Now, it is something that is not talked about a lot, so I hope you guys are getting some good information here, but is going to help you a lot in your decision making when it comes to trading the indices, specifically SPY and QQQ. Why? Because if these are the top holdings, right, they're the holdings of the indice and they're moving a certain way, more than likely if the top holdings are going down, SPY QQQ is going to go down. The top holdings are going up, SPY and QQQ is going to go up, right? So when we talk about the market is bouncing or the market is selling, we are specifically talking about the top holdings of each. What are they doing? Now, this is what my charts look like. What I'm watching SPY or trading QQQ. All right, SPY here, 2Q. So what I'll be watching is Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon, right? Meta, NVIDIA, AMD, Google, right? I'm watching these top holdings constantly while I'm trading SPY and QQQ. And this is what tells me, for the most of the time, okay, is the market bouncing? Is the market selling? Is QQQ at a huge resistance and we have Apple selling, we have Microsoft selling, we have Tesla selling? Well, more than likely QQQ and SPY are probably going to sell along with it. Sometimes it lags, sometimes it's not 100% foolproof, right? But most of the time, if we're watching the top holdings, specifically Apple and Microsoft, I mean, if you have to watch only two, Apple, Microsoft, the top two that you should be holding, and we could see it here again, Apple, Microsoft, right? So always be watching these top holdings when you are trading these indices. It is going to help you out, get a clear direction on where the market might go, where to get good entries, where to get good exits, right? If we're in puts, we took puts, and then the entire market is starting to bounce, well, that'd be a good time to exit the position with profits, or at least go down two runners. Now, if we are in calls and then the whole entire market is starting to sell, probably a good time to exit with profits or exit to go down to runners, right? These are my leading indicators beyond volume, some EMAs. These are my leading indicators when it comes to trading SPY and QQQ, and how I've become so good at trading zero dates and trading these indices is because I am watching what the market is doing while I am trading, right? While what is the market doing helps me be that leading indicator in what type of trade I'm going to take, when I'm going to exit, when I'm going to enter, all of that good stuff. So now let's go into the actual trades that we took today on QQQ. First one, 108%. Now we did take puts here for 108%. What was I seeing? What was I looking for? Well, one thing I was looking at was the volume. Now, what I saw on the volume today was, at least in the beginning of the market, I was seeing some pretty heavy sell volume. Now, another thing that we want to look for when it comes to indices is over a million, right? A million coming in volume. That's what this 1,000 is, be a million. I want to see volume reach over that. If it's below a million, then it's a low volume day. But what I was seeing was, the most volume hit over a million. So even without that, we could see sell volume, then we have decreasing sell volume, a little bit increasing buy. But coming into this, we had mostly sell volume coming in. It was the biggest volume coming in. Another thing I was looking for in this put trade was we were coming up to a pretty big level here. I had 390.32 as a major level for me. We could see that was a big level support resistance flip that we saw Tuesday, or no, this was Friday. So Wednesday is Friday. And then here is Monday, right? We had a short week. We were off on Thursday last week. So we saw that this level was pretty big. We could see that on Wednesday it was a big support resistance flip level. We come in on Friday, it was a level of rejection. And then today we had essentially a double top coming in at this level yet again. So just looking at the indice itself, you could see this was a pretty big support resistance flip. We opened up below it, we rejected it again. We came back up, and then we started to get some rejection, right? Big wick to the upside. I am on the 5-minute, right? Very, very slow momentum. Did we bounce? Yes. But once we came right back up to this level, into the zone, we were getting some rejection, right? The market was starting to look weak. And once I saw that this momentum slowed, one thing I look for when it comes to reading candlesticks and the price action is, are we getting a nice solid trend? Is the momentum slowing? What's going on with it? Well, as soon as we got right back into the high of the day, sell, like wicks to the upside. We could not get above this level for 8:30, about almost 30 minutes, right? It took about 30 minutes for it to finally hit a sell, but we could just not do it. If we were to break through this level, I would have liked a break before that 30 minutes. Ultimately, after, essentially, you could call this a dragonfly hammer candle. But I would have liked at least a pop after that if we were going to get it, but we didn't. We had a nice pop up, huge sell, huge wick, zero body, push down, right back down, and then we sold off. Now, coming into what we talked about earlier is what is happening during this time? What is happening during this time that we took this put trade? Well, let's go ahead. We can look at Apple, right? Top holding. What is Apple doing during this time? Well, Apple had already rejected high of the day and is already coming down below to low of the day again, right? So we rejected. We've already had a nice sell in Apple coming to low of the day. Now we held, we bounced. But what is Apple doing during this time? Well, we already sold in Apple. So QQQ, as QQQ is rising back up, we had Apple sell off. So we saw a little divergence in that. And we also saw that, the cues were lagging, right? The market was lagging along with this. So when I talk about divergence, you could talk about bearish, bullish divergence. I think there's plenty of different ways. You could do RSI, MACD. This is a divergence that you can use if the top holding has already sold off, but we haven't had a sell on the indice yet. You can use that as the same way you'd use a bearish or bullish divergence. So if the top holding is bearish, we had a sell while QQQ is rising, right? For me, that's a bearish divergence. Shows me that, QQQ is lagging, the SPY and QQQ, the indices are lagging. So let's see if we get at sell. So Apple, during this time, you already had a sell while the Qs were rising. Okay, cool. What's going on with Microsoft? Microsoft, same thing. We had a nice sell while the Qs were rising. Microsoft kind of just flatlining though. Nice little chop in this area. And then we had a sell here. Slight push to the top. And then a slight sell down about a 50 cents range there. But let's look at what other the top holdings are going, right? So Apple, that we had that divergence on Apple. Coming into Tesla, right, is another top 10 holding. What is Tesla doing? Well, we're coming back up to one of my big levels here. It is starting to reject, right? It is starting to reject, starting to get weak. So Tesla's getting weak. Perfect. We had Apple with the divergence. We have Tesla now starting to sell, start to get weak. What is Meta doing during this time, right? Meta. Well, what do we know? We had Meta getting weak and selling off during this time. Another top 10 holding also selling off at this time. What is Google doing? Same thing, weakness, selling off. So you could see that the market had weakness, right? The point I'm trying to make is the top 10 holdings, the market, if you will, was having weakness during this time. So as QQQ was coming up to this level, of a support resistance flip level, you were seeing weakness across the board in the market. Now, once I saw this huge wick up to the upside, saw we tried to push, couldn't do it right into that level. I mean, it's just a straight wick, no body down. That was my risk to reward now for the downside trade. Market's getting weak, saw that bearish divergence on Apple. We cannot break above the high of the day, getting very weak, wicks to the top. All of these confluences together gave me that risk to reward to the downside. That is why I took that trade. And you guys can even see in this, right? Having trouble here at highs, right? I was on voice, so I went more in depth in it, but as the text went, having trouble here at highs. So market getting weak, that divergence, everything put together painted a picture for me, and my risk reward was now there to the downside, and that's why we took it. Now, coming back into our next trade. The next trade we took was right here on voice for 98% into the highs, was a break of the resistance that we just took, right? So we took this resistance, reject, and now we are starting to head higher. So again, let's go back to what is the market doing? Well, top two holdings. I mean, Apple is on a tear, pushing absolutely up into new highs. Great, showing immense strength here on Apple. Okay, what is Microsoft doing? Bouncing, pushing into new highs. Again, Microsoft, Apple leading the market into new highs. So one thing also to keep in mind, Apple, Microsoft, if they're pushing into new lows, and QQQ and SPY haven't pushed into new lows, that's a pretty good indication that we're most likely going to create a new low, or at least a nice push down. Likewise, on these individual tickers, they're pushing to new highs, carrying the market with it. More than likely, we're probably going to push out into new highs, especially since we were so close to resistance on the Qs. So now we have market bouncing, pushing into new highs, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla bouncing, right? Market is bouncing. What is Amazon doing? Amazon had a sell, right? So again, with that market weakness, when we took those puts, Amazon was selling. And then what happened after that sell? Market is bouncing, right? So we're seeing across the board that the top two holdings, right? Apple and Microsoft are going and creating new highs with intense strength, right? Immense strength. We also have the rest of the market, the top holdings creating bounces and pushing up. Yes, they're not creating new highs, but they are also bouncing and also carrying the market up with it. So now, once I was seeing this, especially Apple and Microsoft going to create new highs, that was my cue to now take this trade right here for a push into new highs. I mean, everything was pushing into new highs. QQQ had come up right back into this big area of resistance, creating a higher low. So technically we are, right? We were in an uptrend, right? Lower low, higher high, lower low, technically a higher high, right? Right here, it means very, very small, but we did create a higher high, higher low here. So we were in an uptrend, right? Yes, we took puts here. Market was getting weak. It was a great 100% banger trade. But what happened there was, well, it came right back down, held support, double bottom at these lows here, creating a higher low after a higher high. Nice, solid uptrend is what we were seeing. And since we didn't sell off, we held that support. We had Apple, we had Microsoft going and pushing into new highs. We had the rest of the market bouncing, carrying the market up with it, right? The market was trending up. We had QQQs in itself in an uptrend showing we didn't create a new low, holding that nice bullish market structure, taking this into new highs. The risk to reward was there. So we went ahead and took this for a push into new highs. Took us a little bit, but we got it 98% right there. Now, another thing that we could have used here, along with all this, right, was we were starting to see a little bit increase of buying, right? So we were starting to see the buying now starting to outweigh the selling volume. Another thing we could have used, especially if we use that BBR strategy, is we had a bounce off of the 200, 1348 crosses up. We crossed over that 1348, right? So the 200 above bullish, below bearish, 1348 cross up, bullish. Have a bunch of videos on the BBR strategy. So check out the library. Guarantee it will help your trading, help you take better trades using it, teach you how to learn to read price action trends, all that good stuff. But moving into here, along with the BBR strategy, we could see this is bullish along with that bullish structure. You bounce off of the 200. Again, Apple, Microsoft pushing into new highs. That risk to reward is now there for Qs. I also could have taken SPY, but I was on the Qs today, pushing into new highs, and that is exactly what we got. Another thing we could see is I also told the team, right, watching for that break to see 391. We'll look to go down to a runner there on a 390 call. So even walked the team through this into 391 level, right into that 391 level. How did I find this level? This will be the last thing in this video. Thank you guys for sticking around for so long. I know this is kind of a longer video, but what was I seeing at that 391 level? So about 391, we could see if we just zoom out, look left, multiple top, right? We rejected 391, 391. So if we got a push here off of our big support resistance flip level that we got, I was looking for 390.66 and beyond that, that 391 level. Why? This one was pretty easy. Go to the 1 hour, 4 hour, zoom out, look left. We could see that multiple top here, triple top, if you will. If we did get a push with strength, was looking for a retest in the high. So if things are strong or things are weak and we're pushing down levels, what do stocks do? They trade level to level. So we had a big push out of this nice support resistance flip level that we created. Well, more than likely, we're going to go try to retest the highs, most recent highs. And that's exactly what we did. That is where I got my 391 level. And you guys can see it clear as day right there. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this was a long one, but hope you got a lot of information out of it. Again, please use the top holdings. If you don't have enough charts up to be able to do that, at least look at Apple and Microsoft while you're trading the indices. It will help you out tremendously to see, is the market strong? Is the market weak? Is it selling? Is it bouncing? Is it going to new highs? Is it going to new lows? And that will help you guys out tremendously. Again, my name is Mr. Banks. Thank you guys again for coming out. I'll put out more videos for you guys. See you guys on the next one. If you guys, again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. Like and subscribe this so everyone can get some good education under their wings. See you guys next time on another trade recap.